Assalamu alaikum dear students, hope you all are doing well. This is Sweda Shagin Akhtar, lecturer of economics at the School of Business, Bangladesh Open University. Dear viewers, I want you to imagine this. Suppose it's a weekend morning and you decide to bake a cake from the scratch, not from any cake mix. So you go to the market and buy all the necessary ingredients like flour, sugar, oil and eggs, and you come back to home, use your electricity, oven and invest your time and energy, and after 1 hour a cake comes out of the oven. At this moment, if I ask you what's the cost of making this cake, then you may add up all the prices of the ingredients and say it's about 1000 taka. But what about the time and energy you invested in making this cake? Dear students, this small story gives the starting point of our today's discussion, that is cost. Costs are not always what they seem. Some are visible like your grocery bill and others are invisible like the alternative choices or foregone opportunity. So today we will explore the world of costs, the ones we pay and the ones we don't see, and how understanding them can make or break a business decision. We will particularly discuss the ideas about economic cost, accounting cost, total cost, fixed cost, variable cost, marginal cost and short run average cost curve. So today's content has been derived from the Microeconomics course bearing the course code BBA 2307. You know, today's program has been specially designed for the students of BBA program at Bangladesh Open University. But the students of MBA and PMBA program can also benefit from this content. Dear students, before we begin our discussion, I would suggest you to keep a pen or paper or any noting device because you might need to note down something important during the video broadcast. Or you can reach out to your designated course instructor from School of Business, Bangladesh Open University if you face any problems regarding the topic. So let's get started. Let's imagine another scenario. Suppose Rohim sets up a tea stall at a busy corner of a street. Every day he buys tea leaves, sugar, milk and pays his assistant. At the end of the month, he calculates all of his expenses and it adds up to around 15,000 taka. This is called his out-of-pocket expense or referred as accounting cost. But before setting up this tea stall, Rohim used to work in a garments factory where he used to earn 20,000 taka per month. Now here is the catch. Rohim left his job to set up his own business. So apparently his costs would be around 15,000 taka per month, but he has also left a potential salary of 20,000 taka, which is invisible, and this is known as the opportunity cost. In economics, we define opportunity cost as the value of next best alternative foregone. So economic cost is equal to opportunity cost plus accounting cost. That is, while accountants track what have been spent or paid, economists talk about what has been sacrificed. Understanding this broad concept is the key to any smart business decision making. Now suppose Rohim wants to expand his business. He rents a bigger space, hires another assistant. Some of his costs like the rent of his tea stall and the salary of his assistants or the depreciation of his main tea kettle remains the same no matter what. But on a busy Friday evening, when the demand for his tea goes up, he needs to make more teacups and he needs to buy more tea leaves. His cost increases, and these costs are known as the variable cost, which increases or decreases as the production goes or downs. So total cost would be the sum of fixed cost plus variable cost. So whether you are a street vendor or a factory owner, understanding which costs change and which don't is vital to managing your business. Now, dear students, let's look at the screen and understand three key short-run average cost curves. Dear viewers, as you can see, the average fixed cost curve, as output increases, fixed cost gets spread over more units. The rent, which is the fixed cost, gets divided among more cups the more he sells. That's why the average fixed cost curve always slopes downward. Second one is average variable cost curve. Initially, as Rohim hires more assistant and specializes tasks, his production gets efficient. His average variable cost drops. But later, as the shop gets crowded, mistakes increase and costs rise again. And the third one is average total cost curve. It's the sum of the average fixed cost and average variable cost. Initially, average total cost curve falls as efficiency improves, but later diminishing returns kick in and costs rise. This gives the ATC curve its classic U-shape. Now, let's talk about another important concept, which is marginal cost. Suppose Rohim sells 100 teacups per day. Should he sell one more cup of tea? Well, that depends on his marginal cost, which is defined as the cost of producing one more or additional unit of good or service. So, if it takes 5 taka for Rohim to produce or make 1 cup of tea and he sells it for 10 taka per cup, then he should produce one more cup of tea. But if the cost is 11 taka, then he shouldn't. So, basically marginal cost is like the traffic signal for any business. It shows when to go slow, when to stop and when to run the business. Now, let's understand the relationship between marginal cost and average cost. To understand this, let's connect this to something familiar. Suppose your average grade score is 80%. If in the next semester you get 90%, then your average score goes up, and if you get 70%, then your average score goes down. So, similarly, if marginal cost is less than average total cost, then average total cost falls. If marginal cost is greater than average total cost, then average cost rises, and when marginal cost is equal to average total cost, this is the crossover point where marginal cost meets the average cost from the below, and it is the point where firms want to or aim to operate. So, dear students, we have come to the end of today's discussion. Let's quickly summarize what we have learned today. We have started with your kitchen from baking a cake, where we understood how costs can go beyond money. Then we talked about several costs and how it helps the business to make decision. And we have also talked about 3 key short-run cost curves. So, dear students, to enhance your understanding, I would recommend you to read the Microeconomics book available on the Bangladesh Open University website, or read the Modern Microeconomics book by H.L. Ahuja. If you feel any problem or have any questions, you can contact us via email addressed deanoffice.sob@gmail.com, or you can also mail us addressed Office of the Dean, School of Business, Bangladesh Open University, Gazipur 1705. Happy learning!